All right, so we are recording. Okay, I want to show you a few sort of administrative things first, and then we'll get into the resources. Let me close this. All right, when you're on the kyvl.org page, if you are away from school, I'm not sure what Bell County is doing, if you're going to be in person or hybrid or remote, but if you are within school, access to KYVL is seamless. But if you are home, you will need an ID and password that is specific to Bell County. So if you click this padlock, oh, I'm logged in, hold on. Hold on, we'll zip over here. Different screen, different browser. Okay, so this is the login screen you'll see when you're at home. So if you pick a resource, you'll get prompted to log in with the Bell County ID and password. And what you can do if you don't have that is click Request Password, put in your school email address. We have students do this too. And the ID and password will be emailed to your school address pretty much instantaneously. So if you don't have it, later today, go fill out that form so you can get the ID and password. One of the things I want to show you under For Librarians in the Librarians Toolbox under Handouts is a poster. This is an 11 by 17 poster. Let me make this a little smaller. This shows everything that we have for K-12. And the first half of the chart has stars under content areas. So Britannica School has encyclopedia articles, magazines, it has images and or video, maps and atlases, primary sources. And then the second half of the chart is features. So you can have audio or text to speech, you can do translation, Lexile levels are available, citations, and then there's Google Classroom integration. So this gives you a quick overview of what's available and what you'll find in that resource, and then some of the features in that resource. So again, that's under For Librarians, Librarians Toolbox, Handouts and Outlines, and then K-12 Resources Overview poster. Now I have created some scavenger hunts for different age groups. So there's a Word version, so you can modify it if you want to. So here are questions, and it's just basically to help the students get familiar with the resources and how to navigate. There's a PDF version, and then I have an answer key for that scavenger hunt. We also have quick reference handout, and I'll open the PDF of this. And it's just a double-sided page. Gives an overview of the elementary resources. If you open up the Word version, you can put the Bell County ID and password on the form, and you can send it out to parents. You can pretty much share the ID and password with families and students however you like. All we ask is that you don't post it publicly. That is our one restriction. Okay, so I want to show you this quick search at the top of the page. If you're not sure where to start with the resources that we have, you can choose For Kids. And if you're looking for information on Illinois, you can type that in and click Go. And then here we've got an encyclopedia article that's at the top of the page. We've got some ebooks. Lots of ebooks, more encyclopedia articles, and more. And we're going to delve into this more deeply here shortly. The other thing I want to show you is this publication title search that's in the blue bar. And one of the ways that you can get to this, I don't have to do a search. I can leave this blank and leave it on for everyone and click go. And then if I go to publication title search, say I'm looking for Scholastic magazines, here's a list of all the Scholastic resources that we have in Kentucky Virtual Library. So Scholastic News, Scholastic Math, Scholastic Action, Science World, and so on. I am partial to Scholastic Dynamath, which is for 3rd through 5th grade because I had a reluctant reader. He's entering 5th grade now, but the last couple of years he wasn't real keen on doing his reading. And I found that Scholastic Dynamath mixed literacy with math questions. So I can look at the record for Scholastic Dynamath. And this tells me a little bit about it. If I click full text access, it will tell me what databases I can find Scholastic Dynamath in. So if I open up primary search, there's 2 things I can do here. Over here on the left, I can search within this publication, or this is my favorite, I can go to a particular issue. So let's do May, June 2020. And then these are the articles that are in that issue of Scholastic Dynamath. So let's look at this mac and cheese, please. So I'm clicking on the PDF full text link. And then here's the article. Since it's PDF, it looks like the original. And so this one's pretty short. It's just 1 page, but you have some text and then you have some math questions. The articles in Scholastic Dynamath can be anything from a half page up to several pages. So here we've got some charts and then more math questions. So I'm particularly fond of Scholastic Dynamath, but if there's other magazines that you're interested in, use that publication title search to see if we have it. There's no need to have to guess what database to open to get to it. Danielle, if you would put your full name in the chat box. We're taking a roll call at the beginning, at the end of the session. And I'll send that to Jennifer Yankee so that she can record your PD time. Pardon me. Okay, so we're going to be working off the elementary student page. So we're going to go to 4K-12 students, elementary. And the first thing we're going to look at is Britannica School, which is encyclopedia, good old Britannica. And Britannica has very good content. We can do a few things here off the home page. If I wanted to browse for animals, I can do that, but I can also do a search. When my stepdaughter was in 2nd grade, they did an animal research project where they had to write about 3/4 of a page on a particular animal. And the teacher sent home the worksheet with the information and, to my shock, told the students to Google their animal, which I wouldn't want any 2nd grader Googling anything. But her particular animal was cougar. So not exactly something that you want to Google. So I brought her into Britannica School and we looked up cougar. Of course, I could have also gone under mammals and done some browsing. So here's the encyclopedia article. So the puma is also known as mountain lion, cougar, and panther. And from here, there's going to be some repetition because I want to make sure that you all see these tools. There's 2 levels here. If this is too elementary, too basic, I can go up to level 2, which is the middle school level. And we've got differentiated text and we have other tools and features. I'm just going to click my back button. Within Britannica School, I don't think you'll be able to hear this, but I can hit play. And it reads the article and highlights the text as I go along. I can also hit the planet and translate this page. So there's the translation. I'll go back to English. I can print this, I can email it. There's a citation button. Let me close that, it's a little glitchy. So here's the citation, and what's good about the citation is that it has the permalink in it. So if you wanted to share this article or do some type of bibliography, you can copy and paste this link, copy and paste the citation, and this link will take someone to this article directly. And there is also Google Classroom integration. I am already logged into my Google account, so I can throw this into my Google Classroom. I can create an assignment, ask a question, and I actually don't have any students in my class, but then that link to the article will be there in your Google Classroom. All right. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay, great. And just, unmute yourself, don't be shy. There's also some images and videos here. And then under related, depending on the topic, this might be a long list. So other encyclopedia articles. And if you're on a device, just one last thing, there are font buttons so you can change the font. So it's the plus and minus over here in the tools. All right, the next thing we're going to look at is Explora for elementary. And the nice thing about Explora is that it combines encyclopedia articles with magazine articles. So if you only have, a limited amount of time to have students research a subject, Explora is a great way to go. So I could browse by categories, but I'm going to do a search. My son is entering 5th grade, but back in the spring, he was needing to do a research project on a state. And so he chose Illinois because he really loves Chicago. And so we checked out Explora looking for statistics and information about Illinois. So you get a topic overview, which is an encyclopedia article. So here we've got some statistics, state name, flag, official symbols, etc., famous people. And then some of the tools. I can translate this page. Oh, looks like it's going to hang up on me. That's not good. Oh, there we go. So here's the translation. And depending on how the image is created, it may or may not translate what's in these boxes on the left, but it does translate the caption. All right, so back to English. And then over on the right-hand side are my tools. So can somebody tell me, are you all a Google Classroom district? Can you put that in chat or unmute yourself and let me know? I know we have some Microsoft districts, but seems like lately everybody I talk to is a Google Classroom district.
This is going to be our first year as a Google district.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thanks for telling me that. I think you'll love it. I have been really impressed with working with Google Classroom and watching my son navigate NTI in the spring. I learned a lot about it from the end user perspective. And it's very feature rich, and I like all the integrations. So keep an eye on that Google Classroom, because as I showed you with that K-12 poster of the resources we've got for K-12, most of what we have for K-12 has the Google Classroom integration. So again, I'm already logged in to my Google account, so I can create an assignment. Whoops. Assigning to all students, give it 10 points, give it a due date, Thursday. We don't need a time. And then I can create a topic. So there we go. It's assigned. There is Google Drive integration as well, but you shouldn't need that. I can get the citation for this article. And the citations are important. So here's the citation that I can copy and paste. And this also has the permalink in it. But if I just need the permalink for some reason, never, ever, ever, ever copy the address at the top of the page in the web browser address bar. If you need the URL, grab the permalink. And this is true for everything that we have. If you don't use the Google Classroom integration, or if you're just taking notes for yourself, and maybe this is what I do a lot in the mornings if I need to research something on my phone, I'll jump into KYVL and I'll throw links into an email to myself and I'll come back to them later. If you try to share this top address with students or a colleague, this is just a moment in time, so it won't get you back to this article at a later time. You need this permalink, and it has all the details in it. Someone's still going to need to log in because we can't have unsecured links roaming around out there, but definitely use the permalink if you're making a bibliography for yourself or you're not using Google Classroom. All right, back to my search results. So actually, one of the first things I have here is Illinois, the Prairie State, which is an ebook. and it tells you that right here. So I can look at the PDF full text of this ebook. And I am going to resize my window to make the text all fit. We have thousands and thousands of ebooks now. That was something new that started with the COVID stay at home. And we were able to get a couple of collections for this next year. So we do have a lot of ebooks. And about the ebooks, there is no limit on simultaneous users. So you could assign this in your Google Classroom, and every student in your classroom can use it, and they're not going to get locked out. If you do this full download on the right, a couple things to know. You can put this on a device. You can put it on your phone, you can put it on your computer, your Chromebook, but you will need to sign in with your Ebsco account. So what this means is they want you to create a personal account to Ebsco. That's who provides our ebooks that we're seeing here in Explora. You need to create this personal account. I've currently got a glitch with sign in with Google, and I think it's because we're all working from home and it's not recognizing school districts and our locations by IP. But you would need to create an account, and if you already have one, then you can sign in and do the full download to your device. But over here on the left, I can navigate depending on how an ebook is created. There may or may not be chapters, like some of the graphic novels that we have don't have chapters. But here we have some facts, and I'm just scrolling with my mouse, but I could use the arrow keys here at the bottom. So Permalink, there's the Permalink. I can get the citation for this. So I can choose my citation type, put it in Google Classroom, or do the full download. I can also, over here on the left, these are how to navigate your results. If you use Lexile or familiar with Lexile, I can narrow my results by Lexile level. I just do a checkbox. And then it does take away that topic overview at the top of the page. So I'm going to take that off. So I just click on the X to delete that limiter. If these books are too old, I can use the scroll bar here and, the date slider and change my results. I can also look at biographies, encyclopedia articles, or if I'm looking for magazine articles. I can checkbox magazine. And so here will be different articles. And if I click on, let's see, let's do this. Well, Cobblestone doesn't have PDF, which is unfortunate. Let me just scroll down. All right, we'll just choose this one for just to show you. So here's a PDF of the magazine article, and it looks like the original. So I can, on this upper blue bar, I can download the PDF, and I can do that as many times as I want. I can throw it into my Google Drive. I'm just going to say Illinois article. So now that's on my hard drive, so I can come back to it anytime I want. It's not going to disappear after a certain period of time. There's my Google Classroom integration. So if I wanted to assign this as a reading, of course I can do that. And I could even assign it to different students if I had students in my class. Here is the permalink. If I was doing this for myself and throwing them into an email, I can just grab the permalink. And then this is Sports Illustrated. Just for example's sake, I can work my way through the table of contents just by clicking on the page sets and then the article titles. So this is one way. So we have consumer reports. So if you were looking for a new car, a used car, a toaster, you could do the publication title search. And I know this isn't elementary, but I'm trying to give you a good example of where you would be flipping through an issue. So Consumer Reports Buying Guide. It's in master file. So you can flip through an issue with the PDF. So the table of contents shows up on the right-hand side. And then maybe I'm looking for a gas grill or a lawnmower. There I can pull it up and then just flip through that table of contents on the left. Yeah. Okay. Back to results list. Does anybody have questions about how to navigate this using Lexile levels or changing the type of publication, looking at ebooks? You can unmute yourself, or you can also put something in the chat. Okay, anybody else? I've got you for another hour, but we'll be wrapped up by 11. We just wanted to allow plenty of time for questions. Just a reminder, if you haven't already, put your name in the chat, and then I'll ask you when we wrap up to put your name in the chat again so I can send that to Jennifer Yankee for you all to get PD credit. Okay. If there's not any questions, all right. I'm back on the K-12 page. Now we do have Middle Search Plus here, and Middle Search Plus is built specifically for middle school students. But if you have some students that need something that's a little more advanced, you can pop into Middle Search Plus and do your research your topic there. The other thing, one of the other things I wanted to show you is primary search. So Britannica School is great to get encyclopedia articles. Explora is awesome because it combines the encyclopedia articles with magazine articles and ebooks. Primary search, and we're going to do Cougar. Primary search is built just for elementary and not so much the little guys, for them to do their own, own searches, but it's going to be magazine articles. So you can see here we have National Geographic Little Kids, we have Ranger Rick, Science World, more Science World, US Kids, Scholastic News. So if you're just looking for magazine articles on a topic and you want to be able to assign these as readings in a class, there's a couple ways you can do that. You can download the PDF and share it to your classroom as a reading, or over here on the right, you can do your Google Classroom assignment, and it will be a link that the student clicks on, which they will need the ID and password to get in to read it. So those are kind of the differences in how you might approach sharing the content. So over here, I've got my permalink. If I just need that, I can copy and paste that someplace. Upper left, I've got my download PDF, which will put that on my hard drive. And then if I just want to browse this issue of Scholastic News, I can do that through the table of contents on the left. All right, back to results list. A couple other things that I want to point out to you with Ebsco. We've got images on the right. We've got John Cougar Mellencamp over here. Do you see these folder icons? And I'm not going to grab this one because I don't want HTML. I want just PDF. So I'm going to throw these into my folder. So I've got two kids and they are 8 years apart. And through the years, lots of different questions come up and they have research projects at school and so on. So one of the things that I've taught them is to get on their device, their iPad or whatever, or their Chromebook. And if they only have 5 or 10 minutes, and you can see we've got Scholastic News Edition 4, Scholastic News Edition 3 with the different Lexile levels. So just pay attention to that. I'm looking for PDFs specifically, Catching Cougar Kittens. So what I've shown them, and I show this often when I do trainings, I can click on that folder icon, and as long as I stay in this browser window and scroll up to the top to folder, here are the articles I've thrown into my folder. And this is what I can do with it. So what I try to teach in general and teach my kids to and my friends and family is that research doesn't have to be something that you set an hour or two aside for. You can do it in little blocks of time. So what I've shown my kids is that they can throw things into their folder when they've got 5 or 10 minutes. Or you all can do this too. Maybe you're sitting at the dentist's office waiting for your turn and you get on your phone and you come to KYVL and you're looking for some readings on cougars. You can throw things into your folder, and as long as you keep your browser window open, I can email these to myself. Now just keep an eye on your spam folder. I can choose my citation format, and then it automatically checkboxes this PDF as separate attachment. And what's going to happen over a matter of 5 and 10 minutes, it's going to email me all these articles with the PDFs attached. So I don't have to throw them into my Google Classroom right then if I don't have time to read the article. I can just throw them into a folder, email them to myself, and when I have time, let's see, when I have time, I can go back. Let's see, they've not come through yet, but they will. There we go. So here are my articles. I've got my citation. I've got the full text of the article, and then here's the PDF that I can download. And there we go. So I do this a lot, and I teach on this a lot because research doesn't have to be burdensome. You can do it pretty quickly in just little snatches of time that you have. I know that was kind of a quick run through. Does anybody have questions about how to do that? As soon as I close my browser window, that folder is gone. Unless you create a personal Ebsco account, you can save them permanently. Okay, thank you, Jill. All right. The last thing I want to show you is the ebook collection from Ebsco that we have. Oh, no, last two things. Sorry, two more things. There's some other things here. Novelist is on how to find fiction books. It's not the fiction books themselves, but it's reader's advisory. So if you were looking for fiction books that had something to do with the civil rights movement of the 1960s, you would use Novelist, and it makes book recommendations. School Center has math and English exercises starting at 4th grade. And then as students progress, the list of subjects gets longer. It gets into science, biology. And when they hit high school, there's ACT and AP exam prep in School Center. But it is supplementary materials to help students learn concepts or practice their reading and literacy. So Ebsco Ebooks. Okay, so let's just pretend that I hadn't already researched Illinois. So let's say I'm looking for some ebooks on Illinois, and so this is K through 8. So let's look at this one that we haven't looked at yet. So here we've got our table of contents. We've got a section of fast facts, which was very helpful to my son when he was doing his research project in the spring. We can look at the timeline. And then if I wanted to, I could download just the timeline chapter as a PDF. So maybe I wanted to share just this timeline in Google Classroom. I can certainly do that. So you don't have to download the whole ebook if you don't want to. So again, I can link to this with the permalink. I can throw it in Google Classroom, and it's just as a reminder, it's a 3-month checkout if you do the full download over here. But if you do just the link, the link will be there at least for the next year, as long as we have this collection. All right, back to results list. I can do new search, and I can also browse. So we've got different subject areas here. We've got sciences, self-help and family, social sciences, sports and games. But let's say looking for things on airplanes. So maybe I've got a reluctant reader, or we're talking about innovations in aircraft, air travel. So this goes back to 1997. So let's bring that date slider up a little bit, get some more current titles. And there's quite a bit you can do here, but we won't get into the details there. So let's say aircraft of World War I, miracle landing on the Hudson, airplanes. And then if I wanted to, I could also do this advanced search and search airplanes and aircraft that are fiction. So these are ebooks, and we've got juvenile fiction, damage control, and so here we've got, now this isn't as pretty of a list of chapters, but again, I can do Permalink, Google Classroom. Or I can pull up, let's look at this one. I can pull up the PDF. Oh, that's a bit better. So let's see, this might be. Sometimes it tells you in the record. Let me scroll down a little bit. Oh, it just says juvenile fiction. Some of them actually have the Lexile level, so you can choose that way. All right, the last thing, if there aren't any questions. Teen Book Cloud, we have it on this page because it's good for read alouds. The Kate DiCamillo books are in Teen Book Cloud, but they are also in Tumble Book Library. And Tumble Book Library is ebooks, fiction and nonfiction for K through 6. So let me take you through what you've got available here. And again, there is no limit on simultaneous use. So you can assign the same book to 10 kids, and if they're all in it at the same time, it's not a problem. They're not going to be locked out of it. So storybooks read to you. So let's look at Angus All Aglow, and their animations. And most of the titles in Tumble Book Library have quizzes and book report template. And then some of them have lesson plans. So if I do read online, and I don't think you'll be able to hear this, but there are sound effects and then the narration audio. Oh, great, you can hear it. Thank you. So you can see it highlights the text as it reads, as it does the narration. You can turn the volume on or off. You can turn it to manual, because what it does automatically is forwards the pages, and just, you know, it will go through the whole book without intervention, but you can turn that off and do manual, where you or the student will forward the pages and they can read it or you can read it to them. Whoops, come on. So there are quizzes. Oh, question. Oh, great. I'm so glad. Yeah, I love Tumble Book Library. We just got it. We had it for a couple months as part of the COVID courtesy collections, and then we were able to keep it. So let's do a quick quiz, and I am just going to randomly answer some questions. There. Oh, 0 out of 5. So I can retake this quiz or I can print the results. And printing, depending on the ages that you're dealing with, they could PDF it and send it in. And then also there's a book report template. So it just basically asks questions and the students are supposed to fill in the blank, and when they're done, they can print it. All right, read-alongs. Let's see, I like Addison Adley and The Trick of the Eye. And all of these sections, the storybooks, the read-alongs, are organized into categories. So we've got advanced readers, chapter books, early readers. I'm going to do this chapter book. Got quizzes and book report. Down at the bottom, suggestions on other books I might like. But if I do read online, the difference with read-alongs, and this is, I'll be blunt, this is a little misleading. These green buttons look like play buttons, but they're not. These are ways to advance the pages, but I can also use my arrow keys to do that. Bookmarks and notes are specific to the device you are using. So if you bookmark it, just remember, if you move to your phone or to your laptop and back and forth, the bookmark is cookie based, so it's not going to follow you. Text options, I can change my font sizes, I can change my text spacing, and then color options. If I need something that's low contrast, I can change my colors. So that is available to you. So as far as read-alongs, over here in the left bottom corner is the play button for the audio. So if I hit play, it's going to highlight the text as the reading goes on. So that's a read along. Ebooks, we've got Kate DiCamillo here at the top. This is how I read Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane to my son, was online through Tumble Book Library. We have early readers, chapter books, advanced readers, children's classics, and then award winners. So if I'm looking for, let's do hero. So ebook is just just that. It's just an ebook. There's no narration, there's no sound, there's no audio, etc. It's just the ebook. And there is a chapter menu, so I could jump to a chapter. So I would recommend, if you're doing any sort of reading assignments, you know, you can bookmark a section, or a student can bookmark, but I tend to recommend that you finish a chapter, so that way you can use the chapter menu and then jump to that section. We've got quite a few graphic novels that are available. So let's look at Dinosaur Explorers. And so graphic novels, we've got a chapter menu, we've got arrow keys, and these go through the chapters, the arrows in the upper right and left corners. To actually read the graphic novel, you need to scroll. So I can use my arrow key down, or I can use my mouse to scroll. We have nonfiction titles. So let's look at Animals Black and White. And this one in particular is a video. Okay, so that's the video. I can create playlists. This has a quiz that goes with it. If there is a second play video link, what they've done is paired the National Geographic videos that are here under the videos tab with the nonfiction, with this digital book, basically. There are lesson plans. Not everything has a lesson plan, but this one does. So this is quite a few pages that you can use instead of having to come up with something from scratch. Videos are the National Geographic collection. So there's quite a bit out here that you can share. The cardiovascular system, cellular activity, climate and weather, and so on. Language learning, there's French and Spanish. So sometimes it's a book, sometimes it's a video. Playlists. Okay, these are fun, well, useful, because it's actually categorized titles by the amount of time it takes to read or listen or watch. So if you need to fill 10 minutes, you can, or 20 minutes, this one in particular is a 20-minute, you can do that. Now I will point out that the interfaces for these are a little bit different. So you can hear that the wind was blowing, etc. The last thing in here I want to show you, well, there's puzzles and games, which are just little simple things. Let's look at The Boy in the Drawer. And so the student has to read the sentence and then pick the image that fits. So I got it right, so it makes a nice little ding. but if I get it wrong, it's a bong. Last thing I want to show you with Tumble Book Library, if you want to see everything that's available, click index on the blue bar, and this is everything that's in Tumble Book Library. So we've got Anne of Green Gables read along, we've got the bedtime playlist, Bee in Your Ear, Bella Luna Spanish, and the speaker sign tells you what has narration or audio with it. And then the book ID is important. So I've been talking a lot about permalinks, and this is where the permalink is under the book ID. So if I wanted to assign this or make a page in my Google Classroom, whatever the scenario is, this is how you would grab the direct link to this book and then share it. If you notice, you just really can't use the web address because there's not enough information there and it's just a moment in time. But if you click the book ID, and the ID and password for this is already embedded, so they won't have to log in, which is a nice feature for this particular product. Okay, everybody, that is everything I wanted to show you. Don't log off right away. Please put your name in the chat. That is how we know you were here and to get your PD credit. Does anybody have questions? All right, just everyone, please put your name in the chat box and I will record that. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you learned some good tips and tricks today. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that, Paul. And just remember, you can email us at kyvl@ky.gov, and I would be happy to help you. And then if I'm not away from my dining table, or if I'm doing a webinar, the chat is online. So you can always ask questions via chat. I typically work 5:30 in the morning till 1 in the afternoon, and chats online during that time. So I thank you all. I hope you have a marvelous day. Thank you, Alicia. Okay, I still need a few more people to put their names in the chat, or else you're not going to get your PD credit. So you're going to want to do that. I'm going to leave this open for a few minutes, so hopefully everybody can catch up. All right, just make sure everyone, I see Tawana, you did put your name in, Rhonda. All right. I am going to close this now. If you haven't put your name in the chat box, quickly do that, please. And I will send that to Jennifer Yankee for your PD credit. And thank you so much for being here today.